What's up guys, it's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Found Out the Truth Part 5. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes, and if you guys want to know exactly when I upload / my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe. Remember, I have a second channel, What Ifs on Goku on there. It'll be linked down in the description below. It's called Second Channel, and it's also in the channel, related channels. It's called Aunt Popowski. But, thank you guys so much for the support. 30K grind soon, baby. You already know. I'm going to maybe possibly change that title from last time to What If Issei Was a God Killer to What If Issei Was a God Slayer, because it just sounds cooler and it rings off the tongue smoother. But thanks again for all the support. Okay, that series will take a long time, but I plan on doing it in like a movie segment. If I change my mind, I'll let you know. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I just wondered what could be so important to rile up the higher-ups, muttered Issei. Funny, that rhymed. If anything, though, I would think it would be a Longinus of some sort, said Dulio calmly, taking another bite. Ugh, not another one. Why do I always happen to run into overpowered people? Lamented Issei. That's funny, considering you are the poster boy for overpowered. Light powers, senjutsu, and the ability to boost your abilities indefinitely isn't exactly mundane, retorted Dulio cheerfully. In complete control over the elements is nothing, right? Quipped Issei. Well, I'd say that you still are the more powerful one in brute strength. I may be more versatile, but you have the hold capacity for devastating singular attacks, said Dulio pleasantly, as he finished his snack. Hi, Kettle, I'm pot, scoffed Issei, getting a smile from Dulio. So, what has been troubling you lately, Issei? Asked Dulio calmly. Me? Troubling you? How rude. I thought it was your girlfriend, said Renaer from beside Issei. Just some stuff in my past, said Issei with a small grumble. You know, Issei, living in the past is dangerous. If we continue to do that, our fraction might not even exist anymore. Neither of us would be angels right now, said Dulio happily. Yeah, I'd be dead soon too, snorted Issei. Come on now, Issei. Gabriel wouldn't want you to act like this, especially after how much you two bonded, said Dulio with a sad smile. I guess, said Issei quietly. The two continued walking before feeling a spike of energy. That felt rather powerful, wouldn't you say? Asked Dulio. Yeah, and I felt an almost dragon-like presence, but it felt warped, commented Issei. Issei paused for a moment and expanded his senses before feeling a very strong power. I'm cloaking us now. Whatever the thing is, it is best we avoid it. A battle would bring way too much attention to us, said Issei, before expanding his key cloak over Dulio and himself. The duo followed the source of power, with Issei leading the way. As they climbed over a moderately sized hill, they saw a deep basin, with an eerie purple glow coming from it. I'm guessing that is what we were looking for, muttered Issei. Dulio looked over the area carefully before stretching his awareness to the wind. That is definitely a Longinus, commented Dulio seriously, before the two heard a low rumble, followed by the sound of heavy wing beats. Quick, get down, exclaimed Issei, pulling Dulio to the ground. It was just barely quick enough as a dark green western dragon shot into the sky after that, flying away into the direction opposite the nearby vampire settlement. I guess your search is over then, since that was Grendel, spoke Drake, manifesting on Issei's hand. What do you mean? Why is the search over? Asked Issei. I myself fought with Grendel long ago. That being said, after I was sealed into this gear, I've been listening out for the other dragons as well, not just Albion, stated Drake. Your point being? Asked Issei. Grendel was slain by Beowulf, said Drake simply. I see. That does indeed end our search, since the only one sacred gear could possibly be behind this. To think, the Holy Grail would be here of all places, said Dulio seriously. We better head back then, said Issei, to which Dulio nodded. Scene break. The Holy Grail, you say? That is troubling, said Michael, as a frown crossed his gentle features. Do you know who might be behind it? Asked Issei curiously. No, nothing definite, but given how quiet the Chaos Brigade has been lately, there's a possibility they may be behind it. Additionally, given the location, it may also be the vampires, said Michael thoughtfully. Dulio and Issei exchanged slightly worried looks before Michael spoke again. In any case, well done in your successful mission. I suppose the others and I should deliberate on how to respond to this and allies with other factions as well. You are both free for now, said Michael, causing Dulio to give a smile. Splendid. I heard of a particularly ancient cuisine in France, so I might pop by for a visit, said Dulio cheerfully, before giving a small bow and heading off. Issei couldn't help but chuckle at this counterpart. Dulio was truly unique in how positive he could be at all times. Shame you're nothing like him. I mean, you weren't even religious when you became an angel, and you were full of lust. I suppose being the Red Dragon Emperor will keep saving you time and time again, said Renair in disappointment. Gabriel, if your offer is still on the table, can we go for that chat? Asked Issei. Gabriel smiled beautifully. Even seeing Renair in the corner of his eye, Issei couldn't help but smile as well. Gabriel's presence had become somewhat of a lifeline for him, and when she was happy, so was he. Of course. Come, we can walk past Eden, said Gabriel happily. Michael waved the two off. As they headed for the elevator ride was short, but Gabriel was humming cheerfully and brought a smile to Issei's face once again. As the two exited the lift, Issei was astounded at what was in front of him. No matter how many times they came by, Issei always held his breath a little upon seeing the majestic beauty which was the Garden of Eden. A horticulturalist would probably give their soul just to see this splendid sight. Numerous plants, exotic and common decorative the entire area. Hues of green related seamlessly with light blue shifting to purple and dark reds. Bright flowers of yellow, orange, and pink were scattered throughout the much larger trees that reached upwards. Gabriel followed a well-traveled path, leading Issei to her favorite location and the common place for their conversations. A gigantic trunk leading up into the numerous strong branches and abundant large foliage. The surrogate tree had been a common fixture in all of their conversations, and just looking at it calmed Issei. So tell me, Issei, what is troubling you? Asked Gabriel kindly as she fell down onto the soft grass. Issei mirrored Gabriel and knelt down as well, taking a moment to gaze at the large tree next to them. I've been having troubling visions and unpleasant memories recently. It started with only simple phases that caused me to discomfort, but has progressed to me having conversations with my fears and even seeing appropriations, said Issei uncomfortably. I see. I know it may be hard for you, Issei, but the more honest you are with me, the more I can help you, said Gabriel patiently, which caused Issei to sigh. I've been seeing and hearing Renair again, confessed Issei tiredly, feeling all his strength drained from him at this simple admission. Gabriel's beautiful smile momentarily shrunk before returning to normal. If it isn't too much for you, I would like to hear more, requested Gabriel kindly. Well, before it was just the same line she said to me before she killed me. But just recently, I started having conversations with her in my dreams. After yesterday, I've started seeing her form in my mind, speaking and commenting on everything around me. Even right now, I can see her from standing next to you, looking at me with a mocking smile, said Issei orally. Gabriel frowned at this, looking to her sides briefly, and indeed did not see anyone. I see, commented Gabriel. See. Now she will write you off as a lunatic and throw you away like the others, commented Renair happily, which caused her to frown at what Gabriel did next. Gabriel had stood up and moved over to Issei, knelt beside him, and brought his head into the space between her bosom and her right shoulder, with her left hand resting his head gently against her, as her right hand gently stroked the back of his head. Issei, no matter what, Renair is a part of you. As unfortunate as it may be, it is the truth, stated Gabriel, causing Issei to sigh softly. However, she doesn't define you. You are a special person, Issei, continued Gabriel. Yeah, special because of your gauntlet, quipped Renair, with a smirk which was wiped off her face when Gabriel continued. It has nothing to do with the host of Drake, but rather because of your heart. Even before, when your mind was awash with lust, you were still caring and kind. You fought to protect your friends solely because you felt it was the right thing to do, not out of the sense of duty, said Gabriel calmly, pulling Issei's head off her and looking at him in the eyes. Yeah, look at how that worked out for you, scoffed Renair. I know that things did not turn out as you would have wished, and I am deeply sorry for what you had to endure. But you did endure it, and survived, because you are strong, finished Gabriel, smiling at Issei brightly. I only survived because you reincarnated me, muttered Issei weakly. That may be the case, but not everyone can be turned into an angel, Issei. There are 3 ways, as I'm sure you know. The first is through devout worship. The second, through strong faith. And the third, do you remember, Issei? Asked Gabriel calmly. To have a kind heart, said Issei with a smile, causing Renair to grunt. Exactly. You are the one who survived. You are the one who persisted, and you are the one who held strong, Issei. As I have said before, no matter what happens, you will always have my love. It is yours to have, and I will never take it from you. Remember, Issei, though you have suffered much and gained little, I will never ask for more than you can give, and you will have my love forever. Remember those words, Issei. Engrave them in your heart. No matter what happens, no matter what trials and tribulations you may face, you will always have me on your side. That is my assurance to you. While Rainier may be part of you, remember also that I am too. Even if she troubles your heart and mine with doubts, remember that I will be here for you always, said Gabriel kindly. The sincerity in Gabriel's words warmed Issei's heart. True, Rainier was still there, a little off to the side and sprouting a grimace as she gagged, but Issei couldn't care less. Thanks, Gabriel. That really helped a lot, said Issei softly. Gabriel smiled and kissed Issei on the crown of his forehead. Of course, Issei. You have no need to worry. I will be with you forever, throughout it all. You can always come to me if your heart is heavy, said Gabriel with a smile. Issei wasn't quite sure what came over him at the moment, and it would still be on his mind for weeks to come, but without warning, Issei leaned forward and kissed Gabriel herself right on her lips. Gabriel was surprised at the action, even at the preparation of Rainier looked at gobsmacked. Issei quickly retracted his head with a huge blush on his face. Forgive me, Gabriel. I'm not sure what came over me, stuttered Issei nervously, only for Gabriel to laugh softly. It is fine, Issei. I told you no matter what, you have my love. Angels are not beings without emotions. If we were, the Fawn would have never existed, said Gabriel reassuringly. Issei risked a quick glance to Gabriel upon seeing her smile relax slightly. I see, said Issei, calming down slightly. Issei, if you love me in such a manner, do not be embarrassed. When God created both Adam and Eve in this very garden, it is always a natural way of things for a man to love a woman and a woman to love a man. I see no reason why we could not pursue the same intimate relationship. As I know your heart is pure, and you know mine, said Gabriel softly. Are you sure? Asked Issei in surprise. Of course. You have suffered much and gained little, but if being with me eases your soul, I would be happy to explore our feelings together, answered Gabriel happily. Issei smiled. Issei simply smiled. I would like that, said Issei happily. Damn, bro. Scene break. Gabriel, is there something you're wishing to tell me? Asked Michael once Gabriel returned without Issei. Issei has been experiencing uncomfortable recollections of his past, explained Gabriel. I see, said Michael solemnly. I believe I was able to calm his heart, so much so that he officially expressed his interest in pursuing a romantic relationship with me, said Gabriel. I see, said Michael in surprise, his eyes widening slightly. Yes, I could tell after weeks of interacting with me he had begun to develop feelings, but I didn't expect them to grow to this level, commented Gabriel thoughtfully. What are your feelings on the matter? Asked Michael curiously. I can comfortably say that I love Issei, as I love everyone. Whether it is something more than that, I am unsure, but I am willing to attempt it. We are beings of love, after all, said Gabriel. I see. I wish you the best, then. It is rare for angels to interact in such a manner. As if in love, I'm sure the outcome will be good, optimistically. Scene break. Issei, meanwhile, was still in shock of what he had done. I kissed Gabriel, thought Issei in shock. What the hell? How can you kiss another person with me standing right there? Shouted Rainier indignantly. I kissed Gabriel. I really did, continued Issei, completely ignoring Rainier. Hey, pay attention to me, snapped Rainier, clicking her fingers in front of Issei as he sat down on his couch, unmoving. I actually kissed Gabriel. Me, muttered Issei aloud. There was a loud thud outside Issei's door before someone quickly entered his house and grabbed him by the collar. What? What did you say? Asked Azazel, his eyes nearly popping out of his head. I kissed Gabriel, muttered Issei, unaware of Azazel completely. Azazel looked at Issei in shock for a minute before engulfing him in a hug. Issei, I hereby declare you are a true inheritor of my will, my son. I'm so proud of you, cried Azazel tearfully. Rainier just sighed in the background. Great. That is the only person who can actually hear me is a freaking vegetable, grumbled Rainier sourly. And that's the end of Chapter 10. It's all in your head. Chapter 11. The end is nigh. It had taken Issei the rest of the day to finally regain himself, and upon doing so, he was surprised to see a frame of diamonds on his table, featuring both him and Azazel. The only problem was Issei had no recollection of ever taking a photo. I think I missed something, thought Issei. You kissed Gabriel, which turned Azazel into a massive manifestation of pride. He also named you his successor, inheritor of his will. One true son and idol from the point on, said Drake. Wait, what? Asked Issei in shock. I must say, though, I never expected to do something so daring. Perhaps as your former embodiment of lust, but not now. I have missed something for this to get past me, commented Drake. Issei blinked before seeing a hand wave in front of his face, only to see an annoying visage of Rainier. Finally, do you have any idea how long I've been trying to get you to snap out of it? Sheesh. Just because she is a seraph doesn't mean you need to shut down completely. She's just another girl after all. How is she any different from the others? Shouted Rainier in irritation. Issei smiled at this, not because Gabriel was just another girl, but because Rainier was irritated. You know, I might just like seeing a jealous Rainier everywhere I go, thought Issei. Partner, do you realize she is a manifestation of your mind? Questioned Drake. Didn't stop her from making me feel insecure, retorted Issei. You know I can hear both of you. You both suck, huffed Rainier. Your fragile mental stability aside, partner, you should probably go to bed, since it is midnight and now you have school tomorrow, said Drake. Issei mentally nodded before making his way to his bedroom, only to see a massive photo of a grinning Azazel giving him the thumbs up hanging on his wall. Issei's eyes twitched at the sight before he gave a defeated sign. You know, what nothing can bring me down right now. Yawn. Well, emotionally I need a nap though, muttered Issei before plopping himself onto his bed, pulling the covers over himself. Scene break the next morning. The morning came quickly for Issei and he woke up alone for a change. Come on, get up already, whined Rainier unhappily. Well, almost alone. Issei got out of bed without much fanfare before grabbing another version of his school uniform. It was a good thing he had a spare, as the other pair was nothing more than shredded and tattered material now. Quickly dressing, Issei headed off to school, ignoring the feature that tried to gain his attention. Issei made his way to his seat and sat there, ruminating on what he had done. I hope I didn't mess things up. I mean, maybe Gabriel was just being kind, thought Issei. Yes, I knew it. You know I'm not the only one who ever had showed any interest in you, declared Rainier triumphantly. With all due respect, partner, I'm not even sure if a pure angel understands romantic interactions. A fallen angel, sure, but I think Gabriel may be too innocent, commented Drake. See, Drake agrees with me, said Rainier, hopping onto Issei's desk, swinging her legs off the side playfully. However, in my opinion, I believe that if any person could make an angel understand what type of love, it would be you, especially if that angel is Gabriel. From what I've seen, I think you are capable of doing whatever no one has ever done before, continued Drake. Now, why'd you go and say that, Drake, whined Rainier. I'm not going to lower myself into having an argument with the figment of imagination of my host's rattled mind, scoffed Drake. But by responding to me now, you did, quipped Rainier playfully. Drake grumbled at this, but he didn't say anything further, causing Rainier to laugh before focusing on the arriving students. Let's see. Standard-looking male, standard-looking male, standard-looking male, standard-looking male with larger breasts than the average, standard-looking female with pink hair, those two seem to be looking at you funny. Standard-looking female student with glasses. Creepy-looking male student with glasses. Creepy-looking male student with a bald head. Seriously. How are you two virgins like that your best friends? Questioned Rainier, commenting on each student as they entered the classroom. Issei gave a small sigh at Rainier's mutterings, acknowledging that she wasn't real, but was in fact a part of his mind. Was odd, but it made listening to her even weirder. Drake. If Rainier is a part of my mind, does that mean everything she says is something I've thought or actually think? Questioned Issei. I'll answer that. Yes, everything I say is true, or at least a part of you thinks so. That being said, all manifestations for me to take, that fact that I'm in this form, means that you really have not moved on from me at all. You could have thought of Volley, or Riser, even that red-haired skank, but you chose me. Well, your mind did anyway. Oh, and look who just arrived, said Rainier calmly, before becoming positively gritty towards the end. Issei didn't look, but he felt the healing prowess of an individual he knew, and it was immediately. Do you think that she feels bad? I doubt it. I mean, you lost it how many times because she died, or thought she died, obviously when I had my way with her, but you actually went into Juggernaut Drive for that ungrateful elf. I mean, you drastically reduced your lifespan, irreversibly so. If that wasn't for that cat, and for what? A girl who turned on you without any care for your feelings, said Rainier darkly. Oh sure, she can heal that scratched knee of a little boy, but poor Issei's heart ripped to pieces. Ha, it almost makes me happy she died, said Renair mockingly, having adjusted her positions to ease on Issei's desk so her elbows were resting on the table, open palms and held together, supporting her head from under his chin. Her legs waved in the air above her lower back. You know, Issei, I almost did feel sorry for killing you. It wasn't much, but it was there. I just wonder how much she regrets what she did to you. No one more than her. Sure, Red reincarnated her, but you pushed for that, and then after that you protected her every single time. Only for her to spit in your face, continued Renair. Issei's expressions couldn't stop itself from shifting to a frown, as he recognized the cold truth behind Renair's words. He had done lots for former Nun, but she had cast aside him carelessly. Ooh, Issei, what's with the frown? One of your girlfriends dump you? Asked Motohama, initially in concern before switching to jealousy. No. Just a bad memory, said Issei with a frown, momentarily catching a certain blonde's eye, before she quickly looked away in shame. That is something I've been wondering. What did happen between you and Azia? I was sure you guys were going to claim the pure maiden for yourself, interjected Motohama, his glasses gleaming in the light. Yeah, all that hard work I put into teaching her about skinship was wasted, added Kiryu. You should ask her then, grumbled Issei. I did, but she won't say it, responded Kiryu with a frown. Then just forget it. I don't want to talk about it, and if she doesn't want to say, then just deal with it, said Issei sourly, pushing his lips slightly. You sound pretty grouchy, Issei. What's the matter? Haven't had any release lately? Asked Motohama Matsuda, before causing the eye-dropping of Moriyama and Kadsei to cringe. Perverts, shouted Moriyama angrily. Don't rile us up, or we'll be right there peeking on you today, warned Motohama, with a creepy grin which caused Kadsei to shiver. Wait, do you mean you guys haven't been peeping recently? Asked Issei in shock with a gobsmack expression. No, we decided to look in what you said about us appealing to women with our own skills, answered Matsuda, with Motohama nodding, surprising Issei. Really? Questioned Issei. Yeah, Motohama even got a girl's number. She was just 6, nothing too impressive. She was just a 6. Oh, Jesus Christ, that could have been way worse. Nothing too impressive, but then again, when you're getting nothing, even a 6 becomes a 10, recounted Matsuda, with Motohama puffing out his chest in pride. Really? That's surprising, teased Kiryu. You're just jealous. You're only barely a 6 yourself, so don't flatter yourself, really. That's me being kind. You're really a 5, but I'll give you a point for your ability, said Motohama dismissively. Wow, I really must have died because I would never have thought something like this was possible. Back when I was alive, commented Renair in shock, pushing herself up on the desk, resting her left thigh with her hand supporting her. I'm actually pretty shocked myself, muttered Issei. Before any further conversation could occur, the teacher walked in and everyone took their seats. I don't even know why you bothered coming to this place. I mean, what does it even matter? If you can't differentiate equations, when you could literally just destroy the entire school and even the town if you wanted to, you could be doing so much better things, sighed Renair dramatically. Issei actually took a moment to mull Renair's words over, before simply shrugging. Renair sighed once again, before turning around so she was facing Issei directly. Issei kept his attention on the front of the class, ignoring the restless fallen angel, who kept fidgeting on his desk. When the bell rang, Renair cheered and jumped off the desk as Issei slowly stood up. Oh, don't be like that. I really want to see some familiar favors. Maybe the bitch who killed me will show up, chuckled Renair. As if a deity was on Renair's side upon existing in the classroom, Issei made his way to the outside, only to see red-haired figure directly in front of him. Issei took a brief moment to look into the blue's eyes, he was previously memorized by, only to find them lightening a soft rage within his heart, which he had been extinguished. Started Rias, but Issei walked past the girl, ignoring her completely, shocking those who have seen the action. Ria's shoulders slumped at this, and she made her way to the old schoolhouse in sadness. Oh, the silent treatment. Fitting for someone who is familiar with the lavish attention thrown at them, both in this world and her true home, said Renair approvingly. Issei didn't respond, but his facial expression hardened slightly. Issei made his way to the tree, near where he and his friends peeped on the kendo club previously, situating himself under it. Issei closed his eyes and tried to relax. Something else you aren't telling us? Issei asked Motohama curiously, with Matsuda leaning over his shoulder. It's nothing, grumbled Issei. Well, if you're ready to see something, then watch and learn, boys, said Matsuda with a grin before making his way down to a familiar place that Issei had long stopped visiting. Is he really going to start peeing again? Asked Issei with a sigh. Just watch. He actually has a plan this time, a rather interesting one at that, said Motohama with a grin. Issei watched as Matsuda made his way towards the Kendo Club changing rooms, knowing they would be changing into the uniforms right now. "Kendo girls, come out here," shouted Matsuda, getting Issei to look at him when he's gone insane. "Did he discover he has a closet manifest or something?" asked Issei in shock. "Just wait for it," hushed Motohama. As expected, it took less than half a minute for the members to come out, prominently among them Murayama and Kadase. "Now I will have victory on this day, because I would," shouted Matsuda, disgusting some of the members as he reached for his waist before pulling a shinrai out from the back of his pants, which he had kept hidden along his back. Issei watched in undisguised shock as Matsuda quickly, ungracefully ducked the attacks of the Kendo Club, occasionally striking a few members on the bottom with his weapon when he could, particularly Kadase, whose face was starting to match her hair color. "Stop doing that," shouted Kadase, after Matsuda had swatted her on the behind for the 10th time. "Never. Not until one of you agrees to date me," quipped Matsuda. "In your dreams," shouted Kadase as she charged at Matsuda angrily. The battle persisted for a few more minutes, with Issei starting to notice something. I think he has a thing for pink-haired girl. That's about the 24th or 25th time he has hit her from behind, while all the others are like half a dozen, commented Rainier. "Stop that! Why the hell are you striking me the most?" retorted Kadase with a furious blush on her face. "Isn't it obvious? You are the true goal in my eyes. Your friends are appealing, but you will be my Momo," declared Matsuda. "Really? He compares the girls he is interested in with an AV idol," muttered Rainier disdainfully. "Well, they both do have pink hair. Maybe that's something more appealing to him than a loli," thought Issei. Oh, God, you. Issei and Matsuda continued to watch as the two traded blows with the other Kendo Club member. Looking on confusion at the turn of events, Kadase continued to grow and more embarrassed with every strike Matsuda landed on her before finally reaching her breaking point. "Oh my God, enough, damn it. I'll go on a date with you. If you ever pick on me again, ever again, and never swap me with that damn stick again," shouted Kadase, getting grabs out of the shock from the other Kendo Club members and triumphant grins from Matsuda and Motohama. "Ha! A fair price to pay. So be it," declared Matsuda. "Good," said Kadase, walking over closer to Matsuda until she was over a meter half from him. "You'll pick me up outside the school gates this Saturday at noon," ordered Kadase. "Of course," said Matsuda happily. "Oh, and one last thing," said Kadase. Before a swift movement caught Matsuda off guard, he wound Lodge right when he would normally grow out of his own. "That was for my ass, you creep," shouted Kadase furiously as Matsuda slumped to his knees. "Ugh. You'll regret this when I need this at working full capacity to give kids," groaned Matsuda as Kadase is retreating back. I'm surprised that actually worked," commented Rainier, with Issei agreeing early at his face was gobsmacked, mouth wide open and eyes even wider. "See? I told you he has a plan. That hit to his nuts, though, that was probably a surprise for him," said Motohama in amusement. "I didn't think he could pull it off, but he actually did. I'm honestly impressed," said Issei slowly. "That's one stall step for me, one giant leap for the perverts everywhere," groaned Matsuda after he hobbled over to Issei and Motohama. "If I was wearing a hat, I'd tip it to you, Matsuda. That was by far one of the stupidest things I've ever seen you do, but it worked," said Issei in shock, causing Matsuda a grin. "I planned this over the weekend. It always works with Tsunarase in the most shows, and Kadase looked like a prime candidate, but damn does she have one mean swing. No porn for the rest of this week for me," said Matsuda with a small groan. "I suppose now I understand why they are friends. They are just perverted as you, but twice as stupid and lucky," sighed Rainier, which Issei grinned. "Now you just need to figure out how to keep things from crashing and burning," cheered Issei. Well, this first date can't go interesting as ours," Issei cooed Rainier, causing Issei to frown momentarily before his grin reappeared. Just let me give you some advice. Don't take her to the park at the end of your date. It won't end well," said Issei, with both his friends looking at him in confusion before nodding at his sagely advice. The park? Where things started for Issei, thought a nearby eavesdropping white-haired girl. Scene break the next day. The next day of school for Issei started off as normal as ever. Students slowly trickled into their seats, discussing the latest gossip, which in case actually dealt with the perverted trio. Many students were lounging at around as well, too tired to be this early. A few were also superstitiously watching the subjects of the gossip. Lastly, to top it all off, Rainier was lunging on Issei's desk, completely normal, well if it was normal for Issei as of at least late. I still can't believe he actually got a girl to go out with him. Didn't you guys threaten to rape people with your eyes? How on earth does someone get past that? Asked Rainier, still in shock. Upon Kadase entering the classroom, the chatter quieted down temporarily, but once she took her seat and didn't show any odd behavior, everyone calmed down, with a few actually groaning in disappointment. What drew a few interested glances was the beautiful brunette that no one could recognize entered the room. "Oh, Issei, is that a new student?" asked Matsuda. "Why would I know?" asked Issei in bewilderment. "Well, recently, every new student seems to show up had known you. Just thought you might have known this one too. We actually thought you were slowly bringing your harem into the school," confessed Matsuda in embarrassment. "Oh, I know who that is. This'll be fun," said Rainier, confusing Issei. "How does Rainier know someone that I don't, if she is a part of me?" thought Issei in confusion. "Well, clearly, I'm the smart part of you, since that girl is Kiryu," replied Rainier. "Kiryu?" shouted Issei in shock, getting a few to look at him in confusion. "Ah, why yes, it is me, Issei. I'm surprised you were the first one to realize," said the girl, now revealed to be a new student, but rather Akira Kiryu, who, from the looks of it things, had one hell of a makeover. The girl out of a familiar pink spectacles and put them on, but this still wasn't enough for some people. "Lies, there is no way that's Kiryu. Kiryu was like a 5. "This is a solid 9, shouted Motohama in shock, his glasses gleaming. "Glad you think so. Truth be told, I never did much care for appearances, but a 5? I couldn't take that lying down," said Kiryu, twirling some of her hair around the right index finger. Kiryu had changed her hairstyle, losing her twin pigtails. She had slightly curled her hair down right to her side, while the hair on her left she was straight and cast-sided over her shoulders. Her bangs had also been pulled back, revealing her forehead and the rest of her face, with it now being back and held together with lime green ribbon which matched her eyes. "Impossible! The same 3 sizes? It can't be," muttered Motohama in denial. "I have to admit, I respect that. She couldn't be bothered dressing her up for school, but when people questioned her appearance, she shut them up in the best way possible," said Rainier in respect. "Now, let's face the truth here, Motohama. My glasses are more powerful than yours, and you said yourself I'm a 9. Well, to me, you're only a 6. But play your cards right, and maybe we could see what happens when you put a 6 with a 9, smirked Kiryu, giving a few blushes from some of the nearby girls who understood the insinuation. "Pretty bold, too. I like her," asked Rainier in amusement. Scene break. "This is hilarious, Motohama. Kiryu completely destroyed you in front of the whole class," laughed Issei, with Motohama chuckling as well. "I will not accept that. It was Kiryu in the classroom," denied Motohama. "Come on. You measured her yourself and the glasses never lie," commented Matsuda, getting a nod of agreement from Issei. "But if my glasses couldn't see the hidden potential of a 5 being a 9, just how much have I missed?" cried Matsuda in shock. "Well, one thing, you could realize that girls' 3 numbers don't define her," said Issei, getting both Matsuda and Motohama to look at him in shock. "What? Don't look at me like that. It's true. You can't just have sex with a girl for the rest of your life. There are other things to do," definited Issei. "That's right. You can get stabbed by them, reincarnated by them, sacrifice your arm for them, die for them again, sacrifice your life force for them, get betrayed by them. Stop by any time if you heard any of these," quipped Rainier. "To think it'd be Issei out of the 3 of you with an actual brain," teased Kiryu as she approached the 3. "I refuse to believe that this is Kiryu," spluttered Motohama, before feeling the 2 hands rest on his shoulders. "Motohama, face it, you lost. Kiryu beat your glasses," said Issei, with Matsuda nodding in agreement. Motohama dropped his head at this, broken in his defeat. "Oh, don't be a sore loser, Motohama. Besides, you might just go on a date with me, or this 9, said Kiryu with a smirk, getting the 3 of them to look at her in surprise. "I talked with Kadase and she would much rather have company on her date, so I offered to have a double date between you, me, Matsuda, and her. So what's it going to be?" asked Kiryu. Just take the offer. Not only did she beat you, let's face it, you were the only one who said she is a 9. This is your best shot, said Issei. "Fine, but I will upgrade myself from a 6 as well. I can't take this lying down," declared Motohama. "That's fine. There's always stand and carry. But you need to have some actual strength, like Matsuda and Issei. For that," smirked Kiryu. "I'll show you. My perverted mind knows more than anyone in this country," declared Motohama. "That might not be as good a thing as you know," muttered Issei in embarrassment, palming his face as he did so. "In that case, noon on Saturday, don't be late," said Kiryu before turning on her heel and leaving. Issei watched Kiryu leave for a moment before realizing something. It finally happened. The perverted trio all have girls for once, with real girls, shouted Issei triumphantly. "Success!" cried both Motohama and Matsuda. "Although you guys still really are far away from having a harem, Well, I'm still up 2, said Issei, trailing off towards the end as he started counting his fingers. Matsuda and Motohama watched as Issei counted after he kept counting past 4. They growled in annoyance. Go die, Issei, shouted the duo, causing Issei to laugh heartedly. I wonder if they'd say that knowing you already died once and died again just recently, teased Rainier, but Issei kept laughing. The perverted trail all had girls, real girls. It must have been a sign of the apocalypse. And that's the end of Chapter 11. The end is nigh. Chapter 12. Surprises. The week so far had proved to be rather lively for one Issei's class. First, there had been madness of Monday, then the twisted events of Tuesday. Now, though, everyone was waiting in anticipation for what was Wednesday might bring. Well, anyways, asked Rainier, from a usual position atop Issei's desk, legs dangling over her back, but this time she was supporting her head with her right hand and looking at Issei. Issei put his head back into thought for a minute, looking at the roof before hearing someone clear their throat near him. Issei looked to his left and saw both Kiryu and Kadase staring at him. Something you two need? Asked Issei in confusion. Actually, yes, said Kadase firmly, causing Issei to raise an eyebrow in confusion. If you guys want protection for your dates, you'd better off asking Zenobia. I still have no idea where she gets them from, said Issei calmly, before muttering the last part to himself. That's not what we came here for, cried Kadase in annoyance. But thanks for the tip, added Kiryu, getting Kadase to look at her with an embarrassed glare. You see, Morihama hasn't been too happy with the week so far, and we promised we'd go on our first date together, as best friends should, started Kadase. I see. That must have made you tagging up with Kiryu hurt her feelings, commented Issei, with Kadase giving a stiff nod. Yeah, well, in any case, Kiryu had an idea how to help her, said Kadase before turning to Kiryu. Really? What did you think of? A makeover? Asked Issei in surprise. Before I answer that, do you really think Morihama needs a makeover? Asked Kiryu slyly. I don't think so. She'd probably be one of the top 10 girls in the school in attractiveness by my count anyway, said Issei thoughtfully, rubbing his chin and looking up slightly. In that case, what would you say to joining us all for a triple date, promised Kiryu, surprising Issei. What? Said Issei in shock. Well, let's just say Morihama hasn't exactly had the best luck with boys as of late. Outside of you three, she has little interaction with them at all, and for that reason, tends to come off too aggressive to most, explained Kadase. Sorry then, apologized Issei sheepishly. Well, in any case, would you mind being Morihama's date for this Saturday, asked Kadase? Well, before I answer that, let me make sure you all have a few things clear, said Issei, getting a nod from the duo. You do realize I'm not exactly single. In fact, I've got about half a dozen girls who like me, and I like them in turn. Not to mention, I've been fairly frequently doing it with one of them, said Issei, getting 2 nods from the pair, although Kadase's was accompanied by a blush. That's fine. It's just for the day, and I don't think Morihama would care too much either. Just don't expect anything physical from her, said Kadase. Of course not. I've never expected anything like that. But are you guys sure she'd be okay with it? Asked Issei curiously. I'm sure, said Kadase. Okay then, I wasn't planning on doing anything this weekend anyway, plus it'd probably be fun to see how badly Motohama and Matsuda screw things up, said Issei, chuckling darkly towards the end. Then, Saturday at noon, don't be late, said Kadase, before she and Kiryu walked off. This is hilarious. You've got from hated pervert to a non-sexual pimp. Oh, I wish I was alive so I could laugh at this for real. Also, you didn't really have to mention your harem on your bedroom activities. You just felt like bragging, didn't you? Laughed Rainier. Scene break. Once again, lunchtime, there was quite a large amount of chatter going on. Issei, what about you going on a date with another girl from our class? Asked Irina with a pout on her face. I would like to know as well, added Zenobia. Well, there isn't too much explaining, really. I'm going on a triple date with these 2 perverts, so 3 girls we go with can all be happy, said Issei. What about us? Asked Irina, unhappily giving a small frown. That's a fair point, I suppose. How about you both move in with me in my apartment complex? I still have a few rooms free, and this way we could spend more time together, proposed Issei. Irina and Zenobia quickly looked at each other before breaking out into a smile. Irina's significantly larger than Zenobia's. Okay, we can come over tonight then, cheered Irina. Yes, I will come prepared as well, said Zenobia, pulling out a bunch of condoms. For crying out loud, where do you keep all these things from? asked Issei, snatching one of Zenovia's hand. I have secrets too, Issei, said Zenovia proudly, confusing Issei. I didn't mean where you get them from exactly. I meant where do you keep pulling them out of, clarified Issei. My bra, of course, said Zenovia, pointing down her shirt. I see, said Zenovia, pocketing the comment upon seeing dangerous glares being sent his way from Matsuda and Motohama. Anyway, we'll see you later tonight then, said Zenovia, before she walked the arena off. Issei turned to face his two friends who were glaring at him in jealousy. Hey, don't look at me like that. You guys have girls as well now, said Issei defensively. Too many. You have too many and it isn't fair, commented Matsuda. Well, too damn bad. I've struck out more than both of you combined in the past, so it is only fair I get more in the end, simply from how much effort I put into this harem thing. You guys just watched porn for like a year before doing anything, retorted Issei. I suppose that's a fair point, said Motohama unhappily, with Matsuda reluctantly nodding. Besides, this means you both can profit from my expertise, said Issei in pride. Oh yes, the expertise of how to get thrashed by your lover's interest. I'm sure they would love to know about that, drawled Rainier sarcastically. Scene break the next day. Scene break like in the middle of the day. The day quickly concluded with fanfare, with whispers of Irina and Zenovia moving in with Issei. We're staring up and would no doubt explode come tomorrow. Alright, I'll wait here for both of you, so go ahead and grab your stuff. We can all head home together, said Issei, getting an excited nod from Irina and a cool one from Zenovia. Issei stood by the gates, watching as everyone left, absorbing in a conversation with Drag. So, Drag, if Grendel came back, do you think the other dragons will as well? Asked Issei in worry. A strong possibility. Dragons always feared for their power. After all, the threat of me and Albion simply fighting united the three factions. It is worrying, though, because the evil dragons like Grendel are in fact stronger than the current the great dragon kings. 6 previously when Tanin was a part of the group, said Drake gravely. So, these dragons are even stronger than Tanin. Man, that's not good, thought Issei. It gets worse, considering that one of them, Cromcrunch, was very close in power to Albion, and last I heard, at least, added Drake. That is bad then, really bad, thought Issei in worry. Drake didn't reply to this, but Issei could feel his silent agreement. Issei closed his eyes in thought before a voice broke out of them. What? Asked Issei in confusion as he looked up quickly only to see Moriyama in front of him. I said, can we speak for a minute, Issei? Repeated Moriyama patiently. Sure, what's up? Replied Issei. Well, Kadase and Kiryu told me about this weekend, so I wanted to speak with you, explained Moriyama. That's fair, I suppose. What's on your mind? Asked Issei calmly. Firstly, you know that I'm not actually going... You know that you don't actually have to do this, right? Asked Moriyama with a slightly narrowed gaze. Sure, I figured as much, asked Issei coolly. Or answered Issei coolly. Secondly, you better not expect anything physical to happen, said Moriyama with a hint of warning in her tone. Like I told Kadase and Kiryu, I know, I wouldn't expect you to anyway. You're better than that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have beat the 3 of us up so much in the past, said Issei, chuckling towards the end. Moriyama gave a brief smile at this, before schooling her features again. In that case, I just want to ask you one last thing. Why? Asked Moriyama. Why what? Asked Issei in confusion. Why would you agree to this? If it were before your self-discovery thingy, I would have said it was because you were a horny beast. But if you already have a girlfriend, or multiple girlfriends, one of which you do certain things with, why would you want to go out with me? Knowing nothing will happen, asked Moriyama carefully. A few reasons, I suppose. One, it'll be fun to see how badly Motohama and Matsuda flounder on their dates, that I can't miss. 2, I really mean it when I told Kiryu and Kadase I have no plans this weekend, and me being bored isn't a good thing. I get pretty destructive if I'm bored, or train excessively, neither of which are fun, despite what it may sound like, said Issei thoughtfully. Moriyama gave a soft sigh at this, dropping her head slightly. Lastly, who wouldn't you want to go out with a beautiful girl like you, even if it was only for a couple hours? Anyone would be lucky to take you on a date, finished Issei, getting Moriyama to look up him searchingly. Really? Do you mean that? Kiryu told me what you said about me being one of the top 10 girls in our school. In your mind, do you really mean that? I mean, compared to most, I'm pretty plain and boring, and I suppose a little violent too, queried Moriyama cynically. Of course, I mean it. Even before I got a single girlfriend, you were always in my top 10 list. It's also why I never bothered peeking on rare occasions you didn't show up to school, said Issei, leaning in closer and whispering concentratively towards the end, with a wink to Moriyama laughed. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or an insult, said Murayama dryly. Take it however you want. It's the truth, said Issei with a grin. Murayama couldn't help but smile with herself as she examined Issei's relaxed face. You know something, Issei? For what it's worth, I'm glad you went on your little self-discovery trip. Because you're a lot more likable and much less of a pervert, said Murayama honestly. But Issei couldn't help but smile once. Yeah, I suppose I wasn't the best sort of person, personality-wise, before that. But people change, I suppose, said Issei. Well, some people do. Others just fool you for so long that you expect them something from them, added Rainier mockingly, causing Issei to frown. Well, for what it's worth, you're a lot more fun to talk to now, at least. It also helps you that you don't peek anymore, said Murayama calmly. Thanks, said Issei happily. I'll see you on Saturday then, said Murayama before walking off. It was only a few minutes later both Irina and Zenovia appeared carrying a small amount of luggage. Ready to go? Asked Issei. Yeah, said Irina somberly. Something's wrong? Asked Issei in concern. It's nothing, said Irina before remembering what just happened only minutes ago. Flashback. Irina had just finished packing her things before heading down to Zenovia's floor. It helped that Irina's floor was free and volatile in personalities, but Zenovia didn't have the same luck, which made Irina somewhat apprehensive. When Irina had made her way to Zenovia's room, she noticed the door ajar, slightly could hear voices speaking. Irina couldn't make out what was being said out, but she could hear one of the voices sounded a quick bitter. All of a sudden, the door was opened and Akano stormed out. The hybrid paused for a moment to observe the angel and saw her luggage as well, before quickly making her way to her room and slammed the door shut behind her. After a moment, Zenovia walked out carrying her luggage as well, in a blue carry-on bag in contrast to Irina's brown. Problem? Asked Irina apparently. No problem, replied Zenovia calmly before the two left and made their way down the lift. Luckily, they didn't run into any of the girls on their way, which made an exciting house easier than it could have been. As the two of them made their way towards the doors, they could saw Issei's father sitting in the living room reading a newspaper. Where would you two be off to? Asked Issei's father in interest, momentarily lowering his newspaper. Thank you for your hospitality, Mr. Hyodo, but Zenovia and I have made living arrangements. Sorry for being such a burden for you for so long, and thank you for having us, said Irina, with both her and Zenovia giving a bow. Ah, it was no bother at all, Irina. You're practically family out of it all. Do give my regards to Issei, though, both of you, said the older Hyodo before reopening his newspaper. What do you mean? Spluttered Issei. I may not be the smartest man around, but I know enough about Issei and figure out things for myself. As long as Issei is fine with it, you both have my blessings. Now shoo before someone else gets down here. This house isn't as quiet as you'd think, and I can tell you don't want any more friction to occur between you two and the others, said Issei's father, not looking up from his newspaper. The two headed to the Wise and left immediately. As the two walked down the street, Irina noticed Zenovia looked rather calm, especially considering what may just happened to her and Akano. Zenovia, what happened up there? Asked Irina kindly but firmly. It was as you expect. Someone was clearly unhappy that we have been forgiven and they hadn't. That's all. Nothing too groundbreaking, replied Zenovia calmly. Did you tell her what we were going? Asked Irina. No, but I'm sure she figured it out. More or less. Not the location, though, said Zenovia. Irina sighed, but spared a glance at the slowly shrinking building as they walked from it. Scene break, end of the flashback. And that is where we're going to stop for now, right at the end of chapter 12. Now, thank you guys for all the support that you have been showing this series. It's been quite amazing. Actually, thank you for the support. Once again, the road to 30k, you already know your boy's on the grind. Okay, what if Naruto was betrayed? What if Issei was the son of Great Red? Yes, they all will be coming soon, along with... It's going to take me a while to write, so bear with me. Issei born as the God Slayer, or, what if Issei was a God Slayer, or Issei the God Slayer is born. Either way, it's going to take me a while to write, so bear with me on that. Don't expect it, I'd say a month from now, pretty much. And thank you guys for all the support. Without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.